convinced me that I shouldn't stand in your way. You want to take Peter and go to Minnesota with Dylan? It's okay with me.
Really? Really? You really feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, I wish there were another way, but I mean it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Promise me something.
Sure.
You promise me you're going to be happy, and you promise me he's going to be happy.
Oh, we will. We really will.
And another thing.
What? Wait a minute. You said one favor. I don't know.
No, this is an easy favor. You just make sure he calls me all the time, okay? You send a picture. I want a picture.
Absolutely. You're going to be sick of seeing this kid's face. I gotta call Dylan.
Tell him he's got a good deal.
You wanna come see Punky?
Yes. You know, me and Doc have the same thing.
So, you gonna tell Hart about our search for your mom?
No. There's no way now. He's gotta deal with this. He's got so much on his plate. I can't.
Witness had been able to come forward. If just one person could say no, Reva Shane could not have pushed Annie Lewis down those stairs, then I would have to stop and wonder. But no one could say that for sure. Not even Reva Shane's closest and dearest friends. Now, in the absence of any testimony to back up Reva Shane's version of the events that night that led to the death of Mrs. Lewis's child, in the absence of any such testimony, you have no choice but to find the defendant guilty. Stop! Please, just stop. I have another witness here. One who will change everything. No, please, just let me talk. Listen. Annie, isn't that the doctor that examined you when you were afraid you lost your baby? Order! Your Honor, this man is a doctor. Let him testify. Let him tell you what really happened to Annie's baby. Please, let me go. Josh is making a fool of himself. What could that man say that would make any difference in the world, Annie? Unless you have kept something from me. Oh, I just found this man. I don't believe I was addressing you, Mr. Your Honor, in the interest of...
Presume to tell me about justice. What's wrong? Another witness, Annie? Anything else I don't know? This is not a free-for-all. Court is still in session. Be quiet. Both attorneys, front and center. Mr. Marmer, Mr. Williams, get up here.
Josh, don't do this.
It's done.
No, please, I can explain everything.
I bet you can.
No, you have to listen to me.
I'm all ears, Annie. Go ahead. Go ahead. What's your cover story this time? And you know something? It better damn well be a good one. Excuse me.
No, Josh, wait.
For what, Annie? For what? For you to come up with another one of your wild stories? You lied to everyone. You lied to me. Even when I offered you a chance to finally tell the truth. When I was willing to help you help yourself, you turned me down.
No.
You told me you were holding back nothing. You told me you were telling the complete truth. You told me that with a straight face, Annie.
You don't understand.
No. You are wrong. You are terribly wrong because I do understand perfectly. And I have one last thing to say to you. Go to hell.
Who is that man? I don't know, but whoever he is, Annie, she doesn't want to see him.
She looks like she's seen a ghost.
Should have taken the stand, Chrissy. Your testimony could be superfluous.
Stop it.
I mean it.
Dad, I took the stand for myself, nobody else.
And I hope it pays off, Chrissy, but it's not looking very good right
You know
now.
what? I'm going to say this one last time. My marriage and my testimony are my problems.
It's just right.
What am I missing?
Dr. Levine.
Who's that?
He's an OBGYN from Lakeville. He treated Annie, apparently. And nobody knew that?
Seems like she's been lying about everything.
I had such high hopes for her.
I did too. What's going on, Annie?
I don't know.
I think you do. I think you know exactly what's going on. Tell me.
Josh, he turned on me.
Yes, I can see that.
Please, just be here for me. Just sit right there for me, okay?
And did I not tell you that I did not want my courtroom turned into a circus?
You did.
On more than one occasion, isn't that right, Mr. Williams?
Yes, it is.
Well, then how do you explain this?
I can't, Your Honor. I have no idea what's going on.
Maybe Mr. Williams can enlighten us.
Like I said, this is the witness we spoke of before Mr. Marlin began his summation.
Really? Well, I remain unenlightened.
Obviously, I'd like to interview this witness.
Not on your life, Mr. Williams. This court is not going to cater to your whims.
This is no whim,
This
believe
is
me.
pure theatrics.
This witness is violent to our case. He's at the very core of it.
Oh, at the very core of your case.
In the interest of justice.
Don't give me the old interest of justice plea, please.
Look, I'm pleading with you. Allow me to put the doctor on the stand.
If what this witness has to say is not relevant to your case,
It is, I promise you.
well, you better promise Mr. Marvin the ball is in his court.
Ross, you don't want to convict an innocent person. You want truth as much as I do. Let me reopen the defense. I have no objection.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to interrupt Mr. Martyr's summation so that we can hear from one more witness for the defense. Mr. Williams?
The defense calls Dr. Stephen Levine to the stand. What's your specialty?
Obstetrics and gynecology.
Have you ever treated a Mrs. Annie Lewis?
Not to my knowledge, no.
There's a woman in this courtroom. Would the court please instruct Mrs. Lewis to rise?
Mrs. Lewis, will you stand up, please? Mrs. Lewis?
Dr. Levine, have you ever treated that woman right there?
Mrs. Johnson, yes.
She told you her name was Johnson.
That's correct.
Let the record show that the witness identified Mrs. Lewis as Mrs. Johnson.
Mrs. Lewis, you may sit down.
Now, Dr. Levine, could you please tell the court when Mrs. Lewis, alias Mrs. Johnson, came to your office?
Earlier this year, at the end of April,
And why did she come to your office?
Mrs. Johnson Lewis came to my office because she said she was visiting here from out of town. She had an obstetrical emergency.
And what was the nature of her obstetrical emergency?
We're getting to an area I'm not comfortable with, Your Honor.
Doctor-patient confidentiality,
I
Mr. Williams?
apologize, Doctor. Let me rephrase the question. There are two counts against Reva Shane in this case. One is the attempted murder of Mrs. Lewis personally. The other charge is the murder of Mrs. Lewis's unborn fetus. Do you see any problems with these charges?
Objection, Your Honor. The doctor is qualified as a medical witness, but he has no knowledge of the legal aspects of this case.
Your Honor, I'm simply asking the witness if it's possible that the fall down the stairs could have killed the Lewis baby.
Do you have any problem with that wording, Mr. Martin?
Well, we've already heard from the doctor in the emergency room, and it was established that the fall could indeed have caused the death of the fetus.
Well, now we have an opportunity to hear the opinion of a doctor who saw Mrs. Lewis before the fall.
Overruled.
Dr. Levine, is it possible that that fall down the stairs on May the 1st caused the death of that baby?
No, it is not.
And why are you so absolutely certain?
The fall couldn't have caused the death because the fetus was already dead.
Order, please.